Hello, and welcome back. Last time we left off, we had just finished Balfoyan and the entirety of the Pact tutorial zones. Just a heads up, if you are unaware of what we are doing here, we are effectively doing a time capsule for all of the base game zones in ESO before they get changed come March 2025, at least specifically for the tutorials. It's not been announced yet when the rest will be changed, but they did basically say all the base game zones. Not sure if that includes Craglorn yet, but I suppose that remains to be seen. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Today, we're starting the Covenant with Stros M'kai. Alright, and this is exactly where you spawn in Stros M'kai. And right off the bat, we've got some people to talk to.
Hungry?
Well, I guess we do. They don't really have much to say.
The withered stalk flowers again. It is good to see you, alive and well.
How did I get here?
We found you floating in the water. I'd seen corpses with more life in them, but Captain Colleen dove in and fished you out anyway.
So she rescued me herself. Who is she?
The captain of this vessel. She's currently ashore, recruiting for our latest contract. You might want to pay your respects, seeing as she saved your life.
I'll go and do that.
The withered stalk flowers again. It is good to see you, alive and well.
Nice reused dialogue there. Where am I exactly?
You're on the Spearhead, Captain Colleen's ship.
And who are you?
I am one of Captain Colleen's few remaining loyal crew members. The rest, well, the less said of those bloody-minded mutineers, the better.
Couple of books to read. Not plot relevant stuff, but things that'll come up later, I assure you. So this is Stros M'kai. I'll zoom out so we can get a better look at the land. Not exactly a looker, per se. If I'm being honest with you, something about it feels off. I'm not really sure quite how to put it. I think it's the grass growing on the sand. Looks really weird to me. Like, it should be the other way around. There should be more sand around the edges, like, if they want this to be a tropical island, you know. But that's also kind of part of the problem, is that it really isn't. It's more supposed to be deserty, because that's how it was portrayed in Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard, but that's not really... How do I put it? That's not really how it works. It's not how islands work, and even then, if you wanted to make it look like that, you could have gone about it in a better way, I guess. Like, just not to sound mean, but this place ain't looking too great. It's also just, like, barren. There's nothing here. Right, like, you do have that big statue there, but aside from that, there's really not a whole lot going on. And unfortunately, there's no real way to get up there. Oh wait, maybe there is. Can I go through here? We can. Is there anybody in here to talk to? I hear something. Maybe not. Oh, it's just the Argonian. Oh no, there is a guy here. Master Kassan.
If you seek passage, know that this ship has no crew. Our captain is ashore recruiting.
What happened to the crew?
Mutiny. We saved the ship and those that live fled ashore. This one hopes they have the sense to stay away. If they return, Kassan's claws will taste blood once more.
You killed your previous crew.
They were not Kassan's crew. They belong to Captain Colleen. before they mutinied and tried to kill us all. Now they belong to no one.
Who are you?
Master Kazan is but a humble sailor, though others will tell you stories. Some whisper the name Kazan Fiveclaw, terror of the seas. Yeah, these are stories for children. We have better things to do with our time, yes?
What can you tell me about the captain?
Some call her the Dune Ripper's daughter, others the Forebear Witch. We, her loyal crew, call her Captain Kalin. She is a master sailor, though Kazan now wonders where her allegiance lies.
What do you mean?
There is a Forebear king and sentinel now, Vaharajat. He has allied himself with the Bretons and Orcs in this Daggerfall covenant. Kazan fears his apprentice thinks smudge of Vaharajat. Too much. A true sea rover has no such loyalties.
Captain Kalin is your apprentice.
Kazan taught Kalin much, though she is her own woman, strong and proud. Kazan is grateful to help her find her way. She is a worthy successor. All that was once Kazan's is now hers.
Interesting. We can get a bit better view of the island now, but like I said, not much of a looker. It's really not. It's just kind of, I don't know, designed really strangely. You'll see what I mean when we get like further over into town. Like, it's just not quite correct. Like, something about it feels off, and a lot of it has to do with the walls here. Oh no. Oh no. Oh well. Well, we will just swim back to shore. Plenty of people to talk to here, unfortunately.
New to Port Hunding? Walk softly around the bloody fists.
Where am I?
Port Hunding, on the island of Stros M'kai. Have you struck your head? Long may you prosper, though perhaps elsewhere.
Just basically tells me to leave. What do you mean you don't know where you are? Get out of here. Never have enough screenshots.
I'm sick of this island, Colleen. I should be in Betnik, visiting...
Think, Lamore. How will we get there without a crew?
That's so weird. The audio's coming from this direction, but they're right here. Very strange. Before we completely talk to them, there's more people to speak to.
You're not one of Bosek's bloody fists. Lucky for you.
One of the things that I would like to change visually in this location is everybody's outfits. Because the game has done quite a bit of updating in terms of things like that. There is many pirate outfits in the game now. And I'd very much like to see most of these people wearing them instead of kind of what amounts to rags. Most of these people are wearing, like, garbage, right? They don't strike me as pirates, they look like beggars, which is something that I hope they change. Because it would certainly do them a lot of favors.
Have you seen Captain Colleen? She's supposed to deliver some papers, and I'm getting very impatient.
There's like a big fire pit here. Not sure what that's for, but it's there. Like, if it's supposed to be a signal fire to let people know that the docks are there, I mean, I guess that makes sense, but then what's the lighthouse for, you know? Just some odd things here and there. But my biggest qualms with this place have a lot to do with the... I guess the way to put it would be the mountainous nature of the island. It's a little bizarre. I don't know why it is so, well, mountainous.
No, I'm not going to do your laundry too. Bug off.
And this game has a lot of issues with that, with places kind of just being... not quite what they should be, or certainly not what they were represented as previously, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Speak to the captain. She's the one who likes to talk.
Look at that, Lambor. Our half-drowned friend is up and about. We weren't sure you'd make it.
You saved me?
Really? I just fished you out of the water. Master Kassan got you breathing again. The important thing is you're alive. But if you're feeling grateful, I could use some help.
Help with what?
A job. Anyone who helps is going to get rich. Right now, I need a fresh face. Someone this island's butcher-in-charge, Headman Bosek, doesn't know and won't stop. Basically, you recruit the folks I need, you get a cut of the take. Interested?
Alright, I'll help you.
The 3 folks I need are Crafty Larissa, Jakarn, and Naramo. Any or all of them would do.
Who's Crafty Larissa?
She's an old friend, captain of the Maiden's Breath. She's also a master of disguise. We can use that. The Sea Drakes use their lighthouse tricks to run her ship aground near Saintsport. Rescue her, and she might join us.
What about Jakarn?
He's a thief, but he's the best there is. He'd be a big help in the heist I have planned. Problem is, he robbed Bosek. Nobody robs Bosek. He's been tossed into the grave under Bosek's palace.
Tell me more about Naramo.
Naramo's nice enough for an Altmer if you get past his Dwemer fixation. Thing is, the relics he finds in Dwemer ruins sometimes come in very handy. He just might have a device we can use for our heist. She's an old
I'll
friend,
look for Larissa.
captain
How do I
of the
find
Maiden's
her?
Breath. You won't spot her. She stays well hidden. Your best bet is to look for her monkey, Howler. They're never far apart. Find that monkey, and you'll find Larissa.
Who runs Stros M'kai?
Bloody Bosek, or Headman Bosek, as he calls himself now. He took over the palace years ago, killed the old ruler and took his place.
Doesn't anyone stand up to him?
Captain Helene, but she's worse than Bosek. Her Sea Drakes run Saintsport south of here, biggest band of murderers on the sea. Bosek and Helene tolerate each other. Neither's ready for a war, yet.
Where can I get a drink around here?
The Screaming Mermaid's just up the road, and they've always got good rum. Just keep a grip on your coin purse, or you'll be a beggar by day's end.
Anyone I should watch out for?
Bosek's thugs, the bloody fists. Cross one, you cross them all, and Bosek will have your head on a pike faster than you can say, "Please, don't put my head on a pike." Also, the Sea Drakes will gut you if you enter Saintsport.
Where's the rest of your crew?
Deserted, the traitors. See, there's a fortune to be made from Breton galleons. Thing is, King Farharajad called for an end to it now that we're all part of the Daggerfall Covenant. Of course, as a loyal Redguard, I obeyed.
Who's King Vaharajad?
Ruler of the Redguard people, now king among equals in the Daggerfall Covenant. King Vaharajad would have us raid the ships of our enemies, not our allies. There is wisdom in that.
Your crew disagreed.
If by disagreed you mean tried to kill us, then yes. Bunch of bloody mutineers. Lambor, myself, and a few others ran them off the ship, but word spread. No one here wants to sail with a captain who won't raid Bretons.
So I find it interesting that Stros M'kai seems to just not be part of the Covenant. Like, it's just its own island on its own, if that makes any sense. Let's see. So there's actual buildings that we can go into here, which is different from the usual fare that we've encountered.
Alchemist, they call me.
Yeah, just a bunch of people.
Don't know why I bother. The fools sink these boats as fast as I fix them.
Colleen's never getting off this island. No one's gonna sail with her ever again.
I'm positively enchanted.
Find it interesting, there's a second floor to this place. Oh, except you can't really get up to it. Once again, another element to the design that genuinely could and probably should be changed.
I'm rather busy.
They just lure ships onto the rocks and strip the wrecks.
All true, Malurl. Yet at least we would earn coin.
You go if you want. I'm staying here and waiting for a ship.
Peace, Malurl. No call for such talk. I remain and will pray for patience.
Yeah, the place is also like a maze somehow. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's no real layout.
Don't tell the others. But maybe going back to Kalin would be better than sitting around here.
Like, if you look at this town, it's like 3 buildings, and then the bar. That's it. There's like nothing here, and of course the massive palace, but we'll get to that eventually. Like, it's not much of a port town, if I'm being entirely honest with you.
Be strong.
Who's taking that? They better hurry up.
Got some mud crab fights, which I think... No, they never quite end. Although I wonder if I kill them... No, I'm not gonna try it. I'm not gonna try it. That'd be funny. They'd all probably try to kill me, though. You've got one big courtyard here.
Keep moving. I'm in no mood to chat.
Which is kind of a shame, because it's like, boy, this is a lot of wasted space. And it's also odd for a pirate island.
I'd give my sword arm for him.
I must be cursed.
I love hearing that dialogue. It's always so over the top, unnecessary. So, I chose to go to Saintsport first, which means that we're gonna have to kinda trek through this whole area first before we even get to what we need to do. In terms of layout, like I said, the island's quite small, but I think this might be one of the few locations to have 2 or 3 way shrines. It's a small island, yet still quite big. And then, of course, you have this house over here. I don't think that existed prior, and you can kind of tell by how straight and narrow the offshoot is, but, you know, is what it is, I suppose. They make these sorts of changes all the time. Not really much you can do.
Piss off! Find your own junk pile.
Dwemer devices are so poorly understood. I've been trying to get this sphere running for weeks. I suspect parts are still missing.
Thirsty traveler?
Yeah, most of these people don't really have a whole lot to say. I'm kind of shocked by it. You'd think there'd be a bit more world building going on here than what we're actually getting. Like, you'd think someone would talk about that statue there, but no, you get nothing. Which is funny, because it's like the most prominent thing on this island that you can see. Let's take a stroll over in this direction, see what we can find. As it stands, right, there's the palace. And if we go ever further over there, we've got the grave and another main quest in that direction, which we're going to avoid.
This one does not sail the seas for riches. Instead, the riches sail to him.
What do you mean, even odd?
Yeah, just kind of getting a feel for the island. It is one of the only other places to make use of the tropical setting, right, as in the palm trees, which I mentioned in the Khenarthi's Roost playthrough.
There's never anything new here.
And this is what I mean when I say there's not really a whole lot going on in this place. Like, there's... how do I put it? It's a bizarre layout, right? There's walls just kind of inextricably placed, like, everywhere. Like, this wall just kind of exists, and it feels really weird looking at that. You know, and it's just kind of there, and it really doesn't need to be, you know? Or if you're going to have a wall, why not have it outstretch and then connect to this rock and have this be up on top so that, you know, it acts as sort of a lighthouse type instead of, you know, it just kind of being a wall just randomly placed here. And it's not even like a wall that you can get on top of. It's just there. We do have a nice little centerpiece over here, though. I like this little pond fountain quite a bit. It doesn't really serve any purpose, and people don't really hang out here. But it's neat. It's a cool little design. I like it for what it is.
Just keeping my fingers warm, friend. I'll be playing in the tavern later tonight.
But this is our marketplace area, and you'll notice there's a lot of dwarven contraptions in this place. That kind of has a bit to do with... how do I put it? This is a place where the dwarves settled, right? You can see over here there's like big dwarven ruins off in this direction. And as a result, the people of Stros M'kai kind of took advantage of the dwarven infrastructure that was here and somehow incorporated it into the rest of their buildings, into their daily lives. So you'll see a lot of, honestly, what looks to be like air conditioning or something. I don't know, I couldn't tell you what most of that stuff is, but they figured out how to use it, and that's what's important. I'm not going to bother to talk to people that, you know, don't have dialogue.
Coming, friend.
I just intend on talking to all of them to see what they
It's
say.
dangerous out there.
Some of them do have some things, but not a whole lot.
A fortunate tide brings you to my...
Typically the base merchants would have the most to say, but they don't in this
eye-catching
case.
clothes are a must.
You want to know a secret?
How can I help you?
Yeah, most of their dialogue's pretty lame. I want to say Khenarthi's Roost was the only one to really glean a lot of information for us, which is kind of unfortunate. And then most of these other houses you actually have to break into. You can't really talk to the people in them, which is also unfortunate. You'd think thered be a bit more going on than, you know, not at all. Because it really does kind of make you wonder, like, who lives here? And the answer to that is no one. No one actually lives here, right? Aside from the merchants who've, you know, decided to stay on the island to make money, most of the people that come here are pirates. Therefore, nobody lives here. So I can understand this place being a little barren, but I do think it should be spiced up a bit, especially when you consider Hughes Bane being the other pirate town. Boy, oh boy, Hughes Bane is something to look at. I love Abba's Landing. The layout is so confusing, it's annoying, but it reminds me of, like, Assassin's Creed. Or a very discount Assassin's Creed. There's also a lot of Abba's Landing that's just kind of unusable, or really only serves to, you know, advance certain quests. Like, just looking at the map, I couldn't tell you what I'm looking at, but it's such a, like, how do I put it? It's like a Kowloon City design, where you've got buildings on top of buildings, and it's just a mishmash of things smushed together to kind of give it that overpopulated big city feel. And it's great. I love this. I love everything about this place. This needs to be here. Oh, sorry, wrong island. Needs to be here just to a lesser extent, right? Keep it small, but I think definitely the buildings need to be more in the style of Hugh's Bane and less in the style of Alakir Desert, you know. Big royal palace Redguard type of stuff. Because it just feels, I don't know, off, wrong, incorrect. A part of me also just doesn't like the base Redguard designs because they're so... How do I put it? I don't want to say racist.
How can I help you, friend?
I don't want to say racist. But something about it feels cartoony. Right? Just looking at this. One, texture quality, not the best. Muddy, kind of just rough to look at. The colors are almost comical, like the blue and the gold. Right? It just feels weird. And I don't like it. But before we hop in there, I want to take a look at this tower real quick. I know I've been prattling on about this place, but I really can't stress enough how I genuinely do not care for this location.
Did you come with my tonic water?
I love how they just call it Overlook. Because you can just overlook the whole island. Honestly, not even a good overlook. Like, you really can't see a whole lot of, good stuff from here. And you can see the palatial house. That's what that is over there. That was added with the housing. So there's really not a whole lot we can do with that. We can go take a look, but what catches my eye more is this man down here.
The bounty of the sea nourishes my family. Early word of approaching ships brings coin from Headman Bosek as well.
But yeah, not really a whole lot to see, not really much of a looker. And the palatial palace being over here is also kind of like, I don't know, weird. Because you can clearly tell it was added post-game, because it leads to an island that originally didn't really have anything on it, right? You could tell because it was just big mountainous rocks, and they changed it to be an actual landmass island. I love the look of this place. It looks like a fortress, but it's also like, you know, maybe a little too eye-catching for new players to run over and then be like, oh, it's just a house, I actually can't do anything with this. Oh, that's kind of lame, you know? Alright, let's check this out. See what's in the bar real quick. So, the typical Redguard bar is very odd in design. Typically it's got 2 bars, one on either side, and then you've got a big common room with 2 floors. I don't know how I feel about the layout. It also just feels like they don't know what to do with these rooms half the time.
Colleen's still hiding behind Lambeau, eh? If I catch her alone, I'll suck her eyeballs out.
Interesting way to put it.
Well, you're a notch above our usual clientele. Make yourself at home.
Go away. We're drinking here.
Not much to glean from this place, frankly. Yeah, interesting stuff.
Welcome. What will you have?
Doesn't have a whole lot to say.
Whatever it is, I didn't do it.
I do like the layout of this place, because you can tell it's dirty, it's gross. You can tell it's a pirate bar because there's just crap everywhere.
Get drunk.
But to some extent, it's not dirty enough. And like I said, it's too clean and weird. And here we've got some of that dwarven infrastructure coming in, so they use it for heating and, I guess, plumbing to some extent? I don't know, it's hard to say.
Yeah, what'll it be?
It's mostly because no one actually talks about it.
You look tired. The best bed.
Yeah. No one really has a whole lot to say either. But let's head upstairs, see if there's anyone there.
Don't bother Grobulash. She's obsessed when researching.
Don't want any. Stop bothering me.
Oh, a note.
Sorry, enough troubles of my own right now. Can't deal with any of yours.
We do have a nice bedroom up here. But beyond that, there's really not anything going on in this place. It's frankly quite boring. It does have porches, but they are incredibly small, right? There's not really a whole lot you can do with these. But I'm curious, where does this one lead? Does this go to a larger outdoor section? Yeah. Yeah, these spots are nice. They're not too terrible. They could be better, though, frankly. Alright, enough dilly-dallying.
Progress is slow, but steady.
Let's hightail it over to our actual quest objective. We wasted enough time observing this place. I think I've made my point kind of clear. This place is just unremarkable, I guess would be the best way to put it. There's not a whole lot going on. And in terms of layout, it's bland, right? Like, you've got two buildings, a couple of, like, side shows to look at, but overall, nothing that really catches your eye or really puts it home that, like, yeah, this is a pirate place. This wall on this side of the island, I can kind of understand if it was already here. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at this giant statue and see how the architecture of it is very different compared to what this one is. And you can see this one's been built into this wall. This is the old Yakuta designs, whereas this is the newer Redguard designs, and I'd prefer if this whole wall was in the old Yakuta style, because that would make it a bit more consistent and make this place feel a bit more ancient. While you could simultaneously have other walls, frankly, I think you should get rid of that one, or just make it, you know, completely connect to that rock over there. But if this side was old Yakuta, and then that side was more traditional Redguard, I'd actually appreciate it a bit more, because it would imply to me a changing of the landscape. And while I'm looking at it over here, I hate when they do this, right? When you've got these segmented walls, something about it just looks so off and bizarre and weird, especially since that wall really doesn't need to be there, or at least it doesn't need to be as tall as it is. It's off-putting, because it almost looks like amateurish in a way. Just because, like, if you're not going to have one solid wall, why even bother? But anyway, enough griping about the town. Let's actually get out of it and branch out into the rest of the world. Now, there are just some random people kind of wandering about, but we will head off and make our way over to Southport first. Now, I do see Naramo is kind of in the way. Frankly, I did these quests in a bit of a reverse order. I probably should have done Jakarn first, because it would have knocked this out, and then we would have gone Naramo, Crafty Larissa last, but my mistake. It's not all going to be perfect. Like I said, in the very first video of this, it's a bit of a rough draft for my full, complete playthrough that I'll be doing, even though I am running through these regions in their entirety. I do think I'll be making a change, right? Once we get to the larger zones, because there's no way I'm running through the entirety of those like I'm doing with these, right? Because these are taking me not that long to do, but, and also I'm going to point out real quick, I'll come back to that point in a second. I hate these giant, like, mountains that are on this island. They just look so ridiculous. I don't know, like, I feel like the island shouldn't be this mountainous, or if it is, the mountains should have more, maybe more greenery on them, if that makes any sense. Because if, like, they want it to be, like, a piratey kind of tropical island, then the mountains should be smaller, but covered with more foliage, to imply that it is a tropical setting, rather than just plopping big, dusty rocks on them. It just strikes me as odd, is all. But like I was saying, I'm probably going to cut back on talking to everybody once we get to larger areas like Glenumbra and so on.
We can't attack a whole camp of sea drakes.
I'll never see her.
We can't leave Iriana to those jackals.
I don't know why they didn't just kill us all.
Cursed sea drakes. Nothing but mean.
Help me, please. They've stolen my Iriana.
What happened?
A horde of damned sea drakes attacked our camp. They kidnapped Iriana, left me and the rest for dead. Please rescue her.
Where did they go?
They took her over the hill, to their camp around the shipwreck. Shamal, too. Maybe they're already dead.
I'll go look for them. Tell me about Iriana.
She's the love of my life. I promised to take her away from Stros M'kai. Then the sea drakes attacked, and took her and Shamal. I'll never see her again.
Why didn't you stop the sea drakes?
We fought, but there were too many of them. I protected Iriana as long as I could, but I got knocked out. I saw them dragging her away as I fell.
Why don't you rescue her?
I can barely move. Those bastards left me for dead and took Iriana. I'd never get anywhere near her.
Who's Shamal?
He's a Khajiit bard, a friend of ours. When I came to, he was gone. Maybe they've killed him already.
I don't know.
Yeah, they just had the same dialogue. And I assume that would take us... no, I guess not.
I can't believe it. Trelan and Iriana were finally on their way off this rock.
But he won't be swinging a sword anytime soon.
Okay, so it's just off in this direction, not too terrible. This island is also just kind of, you know, randomly filled with bugs and whatnot, which I guess, you know, it's fine, but the assassin beetles... I guess I can talk about that for a second. I really hate a lot of the base game just jobber enemies, right? Like, I'm fine with wolves, jackals, all that stuff's fine. But when it comes down to, like, oh, just big wasp, like, oh, that's kind of lame. And unfortunately, that's perpetuated in a lot of the later zones as well, where they just have big wasp, and it's, like, so boring in terms of wildlife. Like, it could be more interesting than that. But nothing's worse than the trio of beetles, where you have assassin beetle, thunderbugs, and shulks, and they all look the same. Something I want them to change, if they're doing these overhauls, is make them all visually different aside from just a color palette. Shulks should look like shulks, thunderbugs can be something entirely different, and assassin beetles can look entirely different.
Shamal must leave this evil place.
In fact, I don't even know if there's giant scorpions on this island. I feel like this would be a place to have them. And this place also kind of implements the disguises. Like I said before, it's the one thing in Khenarthi's Roost that they didn't implement. In terms of design, right, like... I just don't quite know how to put it to words, but, like... it feels so unfinished, this area, if that makes any sense. Or maybe it's just that feeling of, like, odd and unusual places you shouldn't be looking at in games. If that makes any sense. Oh, is that his pet crab? My bad. Whoops. But, like, over here is so empty, barren. I mean, we do come here later because I'm pretty sure this little fake ship is part of a quest, but there's no getting around this section here. And I feel like that's something... I know they don't want people, like, going through certain quest areas before they're supposed to, but that's also kind of the beauty of Elder Scrolls games, in a sense, is that you see that mountain? You can get up there, right? Like, you can't really do that in this game, and I often wonder why that's the case, because it wouldn't hurt anybody if you were to be able to go up here. And if anything, you could just make those points of interest, the point of interest itself being the mountain, you know? It's so odd.
Thank you. I'll try to make it back to Trelon.
And that's just going to have us go back there and talk to him. We'll round that out once we talk to Crafty Larissa and do all of that real quick. Man's dead. Yeah, so now we've got a bit of a puzzle quest. It does kind of lead us in the right direction, sort of, initially, but I think we have to figure it out from there, somewhat. I'll have to see if I remember how to do it. It's been a while since I've done that quest. I don't want to fight you. Alright, so here we are at Saintsport, and you'll see a lot of, like, ruins of old Yakuta stuff here. Which is, they're nice details, but they're not prominent enough, frankly. Like, you really don't notice them as much as you should. And Saintsport's a big wasted opportunity because it's a massive town. Saintsport's actually bigger than Port Hunding, or Hunding, however they want to pronounce it. And I find that particularly odd. But I get it, you know, it's overtaken with brigands and whatnot. But I definitely feel like they could have done a bit more with that.
Oh. You aren't at all what I was expecting.
Especially because, like, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Like, there's so many buildings here compared to Port Hunding. It's crazy. Because Saintsport would be where people are living. And it is technically a separate port to Port Hunding. In fact, it's probably easier to sail into. Especially when you look at this place, it's like, man, how... it doesn't look the easiest to sail into, if I'm being entirely honest.
What brings you to this trash pit?
How did you do that?
Sneak up on you? It's what I do. Howler draws all the attention, I do all the sneaking. Now answer my question. What are you doing here?
Captain Colleen needs your help. She's got a big heist planned.
My ship may be a pile of driftwood, but my crew's alive, and Captain Helene has them. I won't leave without them. Help me rescue my crew, and I'll help you with Colleen's heist.
We'll rescue them together.
I didn't expect to get help so quickly. Remind me to thank Colleen when we're done here.
So what's the plan?
We're going to disguise my crew as sea drakes. Take these clothes. Look for a portly Breton, a sour Redguard, and a big orc. The drakes are keeping them in the large buildings. Once they're out, meet me by Helene's ship.
What if I need a disguise?
Look for hampers with clothes, or kill a sea drake and take theirs. Put on their clothes and you'll look just lovely. Oh, do watch out for the sea drakes with torches. They're not drunk. If you get too close, they'll spot you and alert the others.
I understand. Let's get started.
Remember, you can take clothes from hampers or off-dead sea drakes. Oh, and try not to get killed. Sit down. Warm your bones. See the 2 dead pirates? They killed Lazy Gwale. I liked him. Only pirate I ever knew who liked rats. Now the pirates who killed him are rat food. Seems fitting, doesn't it?
Huh. I honestly don't remember this part. Like, finding her around. What the heck?
Elaine may be a murderous witch, but she does have good taste in books. Don't bother looking for one-legged Elvin. I already set him free.
Weird. So she just kind of seems to be also actively freeing people, but you can kind of get in the way of that. Neat details. I wonder if we'll actually see those people. I mean, I didn't see the what's-his-name's body, so that's a little, you know, odd. There's one.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Larissa sent me. Take this disguise and get out of here.
Thank the 8. I thought I'd die in here. Helene came by not long ago. Told me to look forward to a public flaying. Then she beat me bloody, laughing the whole time. She's one cold witch.
Let me get you out of these ropes.
Stay away from Helene. She's a monster.
I can't remember if we kill Helene. I feel like that would make sense.
Another torturer from Helene. Even uglier than the last one.
Larissa sent me. I've got a disguise you can use to escape.
I knew she wouldn't leave me to rot. Quick, untie me. The sea drake spent the past few hours breaking my fingers. I can't wield a sword, but I can still strangle a few on my way out.
Let me untie you.
These sea drakes give pirates a bad name. Kill every last one of them you see.
Don't know who you are, but you better run if you don't want the sea drakes to gut you.
Larissa sent me. Take this disguise and sneak out.
Ha! Another of Helene's tricks. Let me go, then chase me down and beat me within an inch of my life. I'll chance it and make a run for Port Hunding. See how far I get.
Let me untie you.
Word of advice. Don't let them capture you. If you can't get away, die fighting.
There's many, like, there's ports here. There's whole sections of area that just kind of are, I mean, I guess for lack of a better word, just used as a combat arena. Which feels like a waste, but, you know, maybe it's not.
You're a welcome sight. I've rescued everyone but Crenard, Hairden, and M'kai. Any luck?
I found all 3. They're safely away.
Almost done then. Everyone's out except my first mate, Deragor. They've got him in the belly of Helene's ship. You'll find the keys below deck. Look for Deragor down and back.
What are you going to do while I rescue Deragor?
I'll be visiting Helene in her cabin, to thank her for the hospitality she's extended my crew. Come on up after you release Deragor. You should really say hello.
How did you get the key to Helene's quarters?
Her cabin girl had a key. Poor little Bosmer lass. Barely any meat on her bones. I think Helene was starving her. She's on her way to Port Hunding now, and I'm 1 key richer.
So this is a piece of dialogue that's always confused me, even when the game came out. I think what's supposed to happen is she's supposed to turn herself into a bush or something, and then smoke bomb back into herself, but that never happens, or if it does, it triggers far too early, and we never see it. So that's something I think they should change when they update the base game. But how did you make yourself look like a fern?
Good trick, that. Did I really disguise myself as a fern? Or did you see a fern because you weren't looking close enough?
Yeah, okay, whatever. So we can kind of get a grasp of just what we're looking at here through this section. Because we can see a bit of the island from here, but unfortunately there's too much of a thick fog for us to really see anything from here. Even though it's really not all that far away, but you can kind of see what I mean when I say the rocks don't look good. Like, they're very square. Which I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, right? Like, I understand what kind of rock formation they're going for with that, but like that being just a square pillar, that looks weird. Just the sheer flat nature of the rocks looks kind of bad. Honestly, it just needs a lot of texture work. A lot of texture work, more polygons on those rocks. Good God. What? Oh, I need to go down here. There's not really much to be said about the ship designs, but I feel like, I don't know, they might end up sprucing them up with just more clutter, more detail.
Who in oblivion are you?
Actually, Larissa sent me to rescue you.
Yeah? Ha! I knew she got away! Helene said she was being keel-hauled and beaten, but I knew better. They don't call my captain crafty for nothing. Get me out of these ropes, and let's get out of here.
Hold still.
Captain Larissa never leaves anyone behind. Make sure she's safe.
Wait. You're not my... What have you... Did you poison me?
Oh my, Captain. Are you feeling okay?
I'll gut you like a stuck pig. Cut your eyes out. Roast you.
Like you did my crew? No. That won't happen again. Oh, she fell down. My, that felt good.
What did you do to her?
Me? Did I do that? Her starving little cabin girl may have poisoned her drink. Who can say? Did Deragor get out?
Yes, he's free.
I'll just be going then. I told my crew to gather on the beach. Going to make sure they all made it out. Meet me there and we'll square up.
What kind of poison did you use on Helene?
Oh, it's yarn root. A very nasty local poison. It won't kill her. Not right away. It starts by dissolving the stomach lining, then goes from there.
You're just gonna leave her to die.
I'd love to stay and watch, but no time. You can stay if you like. It's actually her poison, kept for slaves who disobey. There's an antidote on the dresser if your heart bleeds enough.
What would you do if I gave her the antidote?
I'd feel mildly disappointed, but I leave it up to you. Meet me on the beach once you're done here and we'll settle up. Just watch your boots. She'll start vomiting soon.
So this actually gives you 3 choices, which is interesting. You can... where is the antidote? They said it was somewhere. You can take the antidote. You can leave and let Helene die slowly. You can kill her immediately, or you can give her the antidote. Frankly, everything we've heard about Helene is pretty bad. Yarn root is an interesting choice for them to make, because it's the way she describes it is not how we've seen it used, because in Skyrim, you'll remember, yarn root is what we use to try to kill the Emperor, and it's supposed to kill them instantly. Whereas with this, they say it's a slow, grueling death. Now, Helene's done a lot of horrible stuff, but I don't know if I've ever killed her myself, frankly. I think I usually either leave her here to die, or... well, I don't think I've ever given her the antidote. Interesting. I feel like that animation was new. It looked too good to be a base game thing. Alright, let's try to sneak our way back there. I do want to see the lighthouse, though. Nice. And it is a proper lighthouse, too. Yeah, there's just not enough, what's the word? There's too much distance fog. But I mean, looking at the whole island from here, right, it doesn't look too bad, but it's because you can't really see most of the rocks anymore. Whoops. Oh, I survived. Alright, gang's all here.
I thought we were all dead. You and the captain got us out, but it was damn close.
I thought they were all dead. Glad to find it isn't so. I may have only 5 working fingers, but that's enough to hold a mug.
I told you to get out. Glad you ignored me.
Never got to repay those sea drakes. I'll kill them some other time.
I thought
My crew's safe, and only a little bit tortured. I call that a win.
Captain Helene is dead.
Many a captain who sails these waters will be glad of that news. Now, let's talk favors. I owe you a big one.
Help Captain Colleen and I pull off her heist.
She's a bit too obsessed with old Faharajad for me, but I like her style. Seeing as I need a new ship, gold will come in handy. I'm in. Can't let what you did for us go unrewarded. See you back in town.
You! Hey, you! Hey there! I didn't think I'd ever find you. You move around.
Can I help you?
I'm Nicolene. I work for Captain Colleen. She sent me to find you, see if you'd had any luck recruiting for our heist. Looks like you're already making new friends.
You could say that.
Then listen. Just so you know, we're set up in a hideout near the docks. Come find us when you finish recruiting. Look for Lambour outside the door.
I'll find you when I'm ready to leave.
There's 3 folks Captain Colleen wants to help with her heist. Crafty Larissa, Jakarn, and Naramo. She told me about him. Who do you want to know about?
Tell me about Naramo.
He's a brilliant Dwemer sage. Not that he's Dwemer himself, but he studies them. He's out of Bithzark, digging in the ruins there.
Any leads on Jakarn?
He was tossed in the grave. It's the prison beneath Hedman Bosek's palace. He throws people in there to forget about him. You can get in through the tunnel off the river. Just watch out for the traps. There's lots of traps.
So I guess we can carry on with the quests that we were doing prior. Oh, weird, there's wolves on this island and not jackals. That'd be something I would change. I feel like having wolves here is very strange. I don't know, it's something about just the design of this place. It's so... like, it just needs more. It's almost there. It's almost good. It's just not quite. If that makes any sense.
You're safe.
Yes, I'm fine, but you're not. Please, sit down.
Just
rest.
for a moment. We need to get back to town. Safer there.
As soon as you're rested, we'll go. No sense running back to town just to have you die on me.
That was neatly done, the way you got Iriana and Shamal back.
You're welcome. What will you do now?
That sea drake attack was the last straw. Iriana and I are going back to town and not leaving until we find a ship off this damned island. Iriana, we need to go. It's not safe here.
Fine, you stubborn fool. Margrob and Othbug, keep an eye on Shamal.
You got it, Iriana.
Don't stay too long. Meet us back at the tavern.
I wonder if they will be back at the tavern. That'd be interesting. And you can't really talk to any of these people, unfortunately. So that quest is kind of just one and done. So yeah, once we, like, cross over into this part of the island, because I feel like the place is inherently at conflict with itself, if that makes any sense. Like, it really should have either... it should either be tropical and green or sandy dunes, not both, if that makes any sense. Because it creates an odd feeling, right? I feel like it should be sandier towards the edges and more tropical as it goes inland, not the other way around. Because you'll see a lot, like, you can even see where the green is on the map, and then where it turns to sand. And I find that really rather strange
it's right
in
here,
terms of layout.
A Dwemer ruin unsoiled by bandits and thieves. Yet I cannot get inside. Miraculous. To think that the Dwemer of Old Volenfell settled as far as Stros M'kai. My brother and I have scoured the ruin's exterior for some time now, but we have never been able to get inside.
Why do you want to get inside?
Several reasons. One is that Hedman Bosek commissioned me to explore the ruins. A fascinating aspect of Dwemer ruins are the ancient mechanisms to be found inside. Bosek thinks to use them in Port Hunding. I need to get inside to investigate.
Perhaps I can help.
An excellent suggestion. I believe this automaton can unseal the door, if it can be controlled.
I have its control rod, but 2 focusing crystals seem to be missing. They are nearby, but the local creatures dissuade me from claiming them.
I'll find them.
With the focusing crystals in hand, I can complete this control rod and safely reactivate the automaton. While you recover the crystals, I'll make the proper adjustments to the construct.
What can you tell me about the Dwemer?
Some call them dwarves, a race of brilliant artisans and metalworkers who possessed great ingenuity. They built vast underground cities filled with remarkable inventions. Now such works are all that remain of the Dwemer.
What happened to them?
None can say for sure. Some believe they achieved divinity. Others claim they were consumed by some folly of their own. Perhaps both are true. But long ago they vanished, the entire race, leaving little but their marvelous treasures behind.
Treasures?
Dim the gleam of avarice I see in your eyes. The treasure I seek is knowledge, worthless to any but a scholar. Those who help me acquire this can expect to be well rewarded, however.
Okay, and these do require us to actually go into the area. Oh, and another quest over here. You can kind of see what I mean when I say, like, it's just oddly designed.
What am I going to do? Mother's gonna kill me. Mother said this would happen. I can't do anything right.
What's the matter?
Mother sent me here to kill some big monster, but I don't think I can do it.
Why not?
Well, I hate violence, and I'm kind of forgetful. All I really want to do is make weapons, not hit things with them. But I promised Mother I'd try. Will you help me? I seem to have misplaced my sword.
Sure. Where'd you last see it?
I had an awful battle with some monsters over this way.
If I remember, the monsters are like mud crabs or something. Guy's like a wimp, even though he's built like a brick house.
Have to do something over here. Can you get the sword for me? I'll prepare the stinking flesh needed to lure out the beast. It's Mother's special recipe.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of crabs he was fighting.
Just seeing my father's old sword fills me with courage. I can do this, I think.
What are you doing over here?
I was, preparing the bait. The beast won't come out of the water without this. At least, that's what Mother said.
Well, here's your sword. What's next?
Now we lure out the monster and kill it. Easy, right? I sure hope this proves my courage to Mother.
I'm ready.
Well, here we go. Please stay close. Careful now. Those mud crabs are tough. There it is. Good luck.
I do find it interesting. They just have this thing here with a bunch of burnt corpses in it. Not sure what this is, frankly. Although this cave looks like it looks bad, especially this transitionary line between textures that's really rough to look at. And something about the dwarven ruins here look really odd, like they're textured strangely, if that makes any sense. but we'll get to that in a second.
Did you see how big that thing was? And those teeth?
Yeah, glad you made it out.
You found my sword. Thank you. I want to be a warrior and make Mother proud, but I also love smithing. What do you think? Should I become a warrior or a smith?
You're not cut out for warfare. Follow your passion. Make weapons.
You said it. I'm not fighting anymore. I'll make weapons for others. Mother will just have to get used to it. Thanks for everything. Well, I'm done here. Come see me in Port Hunding.
So I guess that is something we'll have to take a look at, see if half of these people we've come across actually show up again. Be interesting if they do. We'll start off in this direction. Yeah, so all the dwarven stuff, I guess in the, how do I put it? The Redguard regions all have this sort of sand-coated texture to them. Which isn't really, you know, a bad thing. It's actually a bit more immersive than if they were just the gray and gold designs that they usually are. But it is rather odd. And there are, like I said, there are some nice details in these areas than otherwise you'd find in later zones. Like whatever this is. This adds a nice little bit of, like, oh, you know, somebody, well, used to live in this area. You know, they're collecting shells and reading books, and they have a chest, although it's not always there. But it's also just a nice view. Well, I would say it's a nice view if there was actually anything to look at. Otherwise, it's just like, oh yeah, you can see more, you know, more rocks. Goody, you know, it's just... I wish there was more, whoops, going on in these places, you know? There really isn't enough. I do like about this, though, that you can actually just make your way and swim over to this part. And it is odd that there is a road here, as though it were to lead to anything, because there really isn't an actual path. It just kind of ends. Which is a bit, I don't know, it's strange in terms of layout. Like I said, the base game zones do some interesting stuff with layouts that you don't normally see in later zones. Although then again, so do the later zones do more interesting things. It's a give and take. I'm curious to see how much would change, especially with these dwarven parts, right? Like, how much is actually going to change? Is it going to look better? Is it going to look worse? Like, who's to say, really? I think as it stands, right, this part, right, like having the dwarven ruins in the mountainside, I actually like that quite a bit. Part of it looks weird, and I think it's mostly because the rocks kind of bleed into the mountain, like right here, and it looks kind of odd. Especially something about just having, like, the exposed wall. I don't know. It all looks very strange. Amateurish. Like, especially that. That looks bad. Eh. And the base game Dwarven Ruins are... yeah, well, they exist. We'll just say that.
I've reassembled a spider, but I must be able to control it. That reminds me. Did you find the crystals?
Yes, I have them right here.
Splendid. Now, I just insert them into the rod like so. By the way, I hope you can destroy this mechanism if it attacks us. Let's see here. It works! I knew it would, of course. Into the tunnel you go. Now to get that door open. At long last, Berserk! Come, we'll talk of our next move inside. As you see, Headman Bosek's trust in my skills was not misplaced. Nor was my faith in your prowess. Will you assist me on another task?
What do you need?
Despite the age of these ruins, I suspect the usual defenses are in place. As I am averse to danger, would you explore the ruins to locate any Dwemer generators inside?
Generator? What's a generator?
Oh, I suppose I'm the only one who calls them that. Independently apportioning dynamo core is a mouthful, but the Dwemer built them to last for generations. I say generators to honor their enduring nature.
What do I do if I find them?
This control rod will keep our new friend loyal to you. I suspect the generators have been damaged over the years. You'll need to escort the spider to each and bid it to repair them.
So yeah, this is the first real dwarven ruin that we come across, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's odd. Like, it's big, it looks like it has windows, but we can't really see that over in the map side of things, so it's, once again, it's strange in terms of its layout. There's not really much to say about it, though, other than I hope that later dwarven ruins look better. It's just, there weren't really a whole lot of dwarven ruins, at least not, like, retextured ones that we could really go off of. They kind of stuck with the design, especially in the Morrowind DLCs, they really stuck with the design. The only thing they changed was the outside visuals to, highlight the fact that we're in a different region of Tamriel and the ruins shouldn't look the same. Which I think is a good idea, right? Like, especially if we were to go to the Skyrim Dwarven ruins, they should look like the ones in Skyrim.
Excellent work. Berserk breathes again. Now, for a personal project. How would you like to earn a little more coin?
I'm listening.
As you see, we are not the first to enter Berserk. In truth, I accepted Bosek's request to explore these ruins only because they contain something I want. Something I believe others died trying to obtain.
And what's that?
Knowledge is the greatest treasure. The Dwemer guarded their secrets as a king protects his gold. In Berserk, the Dwemer hid a set of schematics, mechanical drawings that I greatly desire to possess.
And you need my help to find them.
An easy task. Those earlier explorers likely retrieved them, only to find themselves sealed inside Berserk through some treachery. Their misfortune is our gain. We must find where they perished.
Fine. Let's go.
There may be more constructs waiting on the other side of this door. You go first. I doubt they escaped. These writings could prove crucial to understanding the schematics. My brother should be able to decipher these. Interesting. Continue looking for the schematics. I'll meet up with you.
So yeah, this is This is the one part of the zone that I really like. I'm just a sucker for bridges, and these bridges are really cool. They're actually, like, the only time I've seen these assets used in the game as well, and that's kind of why I think, like, man, it sure is a waste that this is the only time we actually get to see these, because they're really neat, and I think it'd be cool if we got to see them more often. But I do think, right, like I said, the mountains could use some work, they could use some sprucing. But overall, it's a really cool, like, layout, a really cool design. Especially if there's, like, 2 twin bridges, I like that quite a bit. Lava. There was a boss here, but that guy killed it. That's totally fine by me. And this spits us right out here, which is kind of lame.
Ah, there you are. I was just coming to, help you. I hope you found what we were looking for.
As promised, I have your drawings.
The schematics are mine at last. Splendid! This places me in your debt. What would you ask of me in return?
Help Captain Colleen with the heist she's planning.
I hear Colleen intends to head towards the Isle of Betnik. The ruins there greatly interest me. But first, I will assist you in this heist. I must get the schematics to my workshop. Join me if you wish to return to town. Come, Clanker.
I forgot that's what he called it. Now, unfortunately, there are some things to go and look at over here, so I'm not going to take that portal. But let's take a stroll through this area here. Like I said, I do really like the 2 bridge design. I think those traps on that bridge looked particularly terrible. They could definitely change the look of that, because that was just rough. It was rough to look at. But there's, like, genuinely nothing over here. There's like a couple more, like, sparse ruins and whatnot. But it's all just kind of flavor text to the overall world. Really, the only thing over here is this Pillar of the Singing Sun. And this wouldn't be the first time, right? Like in Bleak Rock, you had a similar instance of that one location just kind of being out in the middle of nowhere. But I mean, this is really out in the middle of nowhere. And in fact, we can take a look over here and see that one section of land, you know, that other side of the island that we can't really get to, and we can kind of just see, like, yeah, it's just barren rock, big mountain, nothing really going on there at all. And in fact, we can see some really rough terrain at it. Of this over here. Boy, oh boy, that looks really bad. And of course, I guess that was just the textures not loading in as the rock pops in like that, but boy, that's rough. Like, that is oof. Big oof, very bad looking. Yeah. Not great. I suppose we can continue strolling on this side just to see what this area has to offer, but it's really not much. It just kind of exists. Which I do like. Part of me does like that it just sort of exists. Because it gives me... It scratches that itch that I was talking about before of, like, exploration for exploration's sake. Right? Like, oh, I wonder what this path over here looks like. Or if I were to you know, come across this area differently. Right, like this sheer cliff face, well, yes, texture-wise, it's bad. I like that it exists, and that it serves as like a small little path that you could take to get around the island differently. Right, like if you were to walk across the shoreline, this is the way you'd go instead of the other way around, which I like. And then, of course, we've got the tail of islands over on this side. You can't actually see these three, I think. You can only see those two, or at least as far as I can tell. You can only see those two. I'm gonna try to get a little bit closer to it and see what we can see. There's one random wolf. No, you kind of can, but you can see that they are small. They're flat. They're not big rocks like these other two, which is kind of odd. Not really sure how I feel about that. And I don't think you can swim out to them, and there's nothing over there, unfortunately. I wish there was, but there is genuinely nothing over there. Which is kind of lame, not gonna lie. I think they really should have something. Anything over there. Anything's better than nothing at all, frankly.